Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. We are so happy to be here on this thankful Thursday. We are happy for the opportunity to share with you all once again. And we are grateful for even just a new day. It's Thankful Thursday. So we're going back to the basics. We're grateful to be here. We're grateful to be alive. We are grateful to have our right minds. We are grateful to have air in our lungs and to be able to come and sit and share with you guys for a little bit. And as the day goes on, remember gratitude. Remember that gratitude is a state of mind. Gratitude is a way of being. Gratitude is a gift. Gratitude is a tool. It can take whatever situation that you're in and shift your experience just enough to give you the strength that you need to keep moving forward. And really in this life, that's what it's all about. Not getting stuck, but being able to move forward, to move through, and remember that the storms are not here to destroy us, but to remove things from our path, to give us strength, to build up that strength and resilience. There's a gift in the storm. And I think a lot of times we say despite, but it's not despite the storm. It's because of the storm. We're highlighted. We see better the things that we do have to be grateful for, right? That there's nothing like darkness to help you appreciate the light. There's nothing like hunger to help you appreciate a full belly. So the storm highlights for us the things that we're truly grateful for. That's one of the things that it does, but it also builds up our strength. It builds up our resilience. It builds up our faith. It helps us to find hope and faith and dig deeper and expand what we already had beyond that and even more, because that storm is building up your strength as you're moving your way through it. We don't enjoy the storms typically, but we are better on the other side. And it's sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to feel that way. And it's okay. How you're feeling in those moments are okay. Whatever you're feeling. I had a conversation with a close family member last night before I went to bed, and she was struggling, and she was having a hard time, but it was what she was experiencing was something that had happened a long time ago, but the wound of it hadn't healed. And something that was happening today on a much smaller scale had triggered that old pain. And so she was experiencing a much bigger emotion than what was actually happening in real time. Yeah, I could tell her, oh, you're overreacting. Oh, what happened isn't that big of a deal. But that would not be true. That may be how I see it, but it's not her experience. In that moment, everything that she was feeling was valid and real. And that was the conversation we had. She was like, I try not to get angry. I want to push my feelings down. That's where you're going wrong. Don't push them down. Honor them, allow them to be, hear, see, feel what it is that they're trying to teach you. Because in that's where the healing is. So when we push them down, we prolong our opportunity to heal. We prolong our opportunity to get better, to get stronger, to build that resilience, because what we're creating is a bigger storm. We can see when the winds pick up and the trees start to bow and bow and the clouds change. Those things are so easy to see. But what about when your storm is internal? Nobody sees those scars. No one sees that storm. You're feeling it. You have a whole tornado going on right underneath the surface. And that's not so easy to see, but it will not go away for good until you allow those winds to blow as well. You have to honor your feelings. You have to spend some time with them, understanding what they are trying to tell you. What's out of balance? What are you experiencing? What do you need to adjust so that you can, get back in the game? Is it a time to pause and take care of yourself and get out of the game for a little bit? Sometimes we're not saying quit. It's not a stop sign, but sometimes we have to pause. It's time to yield. We come up on those yield signs every day, and we don't pay too much attention to them because all they're saying is just that. Pay attention. Slow down. Take a look around you and make sure it's safe to proceed. Our emotions are yield signs. They are telling us to just do that very thing. Slow down, take a look around you, see what's going on, make sure that it's safe to proceed. When we don't do that, sometimes we run right into ongoing traffic, right? Sometimes we get sideswiped because we didn't look to the left and we're trying to merge and keep going with the flow of traffic, and we don't even see that obstacle that's coming right at us. Your emotions are yelling at you. My body needs something, my mind needs something, my spirit needs something. So you have to stop, survey your surroundings, look around. And those are your internal surroundings. What is it that you need? Do you need a good cry? Sometimes, tears are therapeutic. Sometimes you just need a good cry. Sometimes you need a hug. Sometimes you need a conversation with a trusted confidant, right? Sometimes you just need some time to yourself. I remember when I lost my mother-in-law, I said to my friend, I just, I'm trying so hard to keep it together for her actual children that it's hard for me to allow my emotions to flow because I know how big of a loss this is for them. And they had her for 30 more years than I did. That's mom. So I know if I feel this bad, how bad they must be feeling. So I'm just trying to keep it together for them. And my friend said, go find you a place and just let it out. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to cry, cry. If you need a good talk with God, have that talk. Tell him how you're feeling. He knows anyway. Those prayers, everything that we pray, God knows it anyway. It's not for him, it's for us. It helps us to remember that we're not alone. It helps us to remember that there's somebody looking out and that we can reach up and reach out, and that hand is right there to help us through. It is to help us to remember to connect with the source so that we can get through whatever it is that we're going through. So you have to let it out. You have to. If you want to continue to move forward, if you want to heal, the things that we hold on. Have you ever heard anybody say, we're only as sick as our secrets? Our secrets, the things that we hold on to, and it doesn't have to be a nefarious thing like, yeah, you'll never believe what I did 20 years ago. I'm not talking about that. If you've forgiven yourself and if you've asked for forgiveness, that stuff is deaded. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. What I'm talking about is the emotions from it. Have you forgiven yourself? Have you really let it go? Right? Is it really a thing of the past? Have you wiped your slate clean? Because if the answer is no and you're still holding on to that stuff, you're only as sick as your secrets. As the moment that you start to get that stuff out and into the ethers, out of your body, you start to feel lighter. You start to feel more like yourself again. Those nagging headaches, the little aches in the tummy, the frustrations, the difficulty getting out of bed and getting things done, that stuff starts to go away. Nothing has changed yet. You're just starting to talk about it and release it. We have to release. And what that looks like for Brian versus what it looks like for me versus what it looks like for Jay or any of you can be completely different. That's why when someone's going through something, it's not time for you to tell them, oh, I know exactly what you feel. I went through the same thing. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The same activity may have transpired in your life, but you didn't go through the same thing because we are all unique. We're unique in how we process. We're unique in our relationships. My relationship with my mom is not the same as Brian's relationship with his mom, or Jay's, the relationship Jay had with his mom. So there's all these little nuances. So we can never know exactly how someone else feels. I hate it when I hear somebody say that because you're focusing inward and not so much on the individual. So you can say, I'm here for you. I've experienced something similar. I don't know exactly how it's transpiring for you, but I know it's hard. And if you need to talk, I'm here. But we love to liken someone else's experience to our own. And when we do that, we sometimes miss what that person needs because we're thinking that we know it because we've been down that road, so we know where all the potholes are. Well, the road's more than worn. There's been construction, all kinds of stuff has happened since you went down that road. And their road is a little paved a little bit differently than yours. So you are there for them. You're a lending ear, you're there for a hug, you're there for support, but what that looks like has to belong to the individual, right? That's what real support is. Because I cried, I can't expect you to cry. Because I got angry, I can't expect you to get angry. But what I can do is be there with you as you go through your process. That's what real support is. Sometimes you don't say a word, sometimes you're just there in the background. Maybe you're at somebody's house, they've gone through a loss, and you just start to pick up or you bring a meal. You don't necessarily have to go through a whole long conversation with them and want them to give you song and verse of everything that happened because you're curious. And them recounting that, it may make it more painful for them. So allow the individual to lead. You are there to support, but you allow them to lead. Think of yourself as a fence, right? Fences keep things in and they keep things out. It's the person who owns the fence that decides when the door is open. The fence is there. It's serving its purpose. It's keeping in what they want in. It's keeping out what they want out. It's there to support. It's there to create that boundary. But it's the individual who owns that space that decides when the fence is opened, decides when the fence is locked. Maybe the gate's completely locked. Maybe it's just shut. Maybe it's part of the way open. Because they're going to go through all of these different emotions. When we struggle, our emotions are all over the place. And sometimes if you hit that wrong nerve, you're the very person that catches the brunt of those emotions. Be there to catch them. If that person is acting out of character, give them some grace. I know they're going through some stuff right now. That wasn't even them, and that wasn't me, and that wasn't how our relationship usually is. So that says to me that they're really struggling. Give them some grace because we're not at our best often when we're going through a hard time. Energy level is lower, our ability to communicate gets more difficult. Just be the fence and allow them to decide when it's time to open the gate, when it's time to close the gate. Maybe the fence needs a little painting. Who knows? Let the individual decide. The fence doesn't do anything, it's just there. It's just there to provide support and safety. And that's what we do when we come upon somebody who's struggling. So today is Thankful Thursday. I see some comments coming in. Hello, Michael. Hello, Sonia. Conchita says, Thankful Thursday to all. So grateful for the gifts of this amazing day. Amen. I'm right there with you. Grateful for today. Grateful to be here. Grateful to have you guys with us. Let me share our quote. Let's see. And this one is really applicable to the conversation that just kind of fell out of me a few seconds ago. Gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. Neale Donald Walsch. What's gratitude in advance? It's gratitude while you're still in the storm. It's gratitude before the problem is solved. It's remaining grateful before the storm has ceased, before the need has been met. You're still in that position of surrender, sometimes frustration, disheartened, trying to maintain and wondering why, or hoping that you can quickly get through, but you're grateful. You can see something to be grateful for. You can, just the fact that you're here. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for another day. My storm is still, the winds are blowing hard. It's taking everything in me not to fall over. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm still standing. Maybe I'm not standing. Maybe the storm did knock me over. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. Neale Donald Walsh, I had to look him up um, to when I found his quote, and he wrote a series called Conversations with God, and he was going through some stuff. He was struggling in his life, and out of that frustration and overwhelm, he wrote down a bunch of questions that he didn't necessarily think he would ever get answers to, but he was writing down those questions just to get it out. And over time, he started to get answers to those questions. And he believed that those answers were coming from God. He had a God encounter where the questions he wrote down, answers were coming to him. And he eventually wrote up the questions and answers in this book called Conversations with God. And then it went on to become a series. But there's something about getting it out, guys. That's what he did. And that's what I was talking about just a few minutes ago. For him, it was somewhat of journaling. He was writing down the questions that he was pondering. And in getting that out of his body and onto the paper, he entered into an environment where his questions could be answered. Sometimes it may be just as simple as dropping tears. Our tears keep our hearts soft. They keep us malleable and open, right? And sometimes we just need to wash that stuff away. The conversations that we have with the right people who we know are going to, not hold it against us later when we're not at our best. I do it with the fam sometimes right before these calls. Luckily, the last few days have been days where I've been able to show up and just go. But sometimes the night before something has happened that's really gotten under my skin, or earlier in the day before, whatever, and I just need a moment to just dump it and get it out. And I know I've got a safe place to do that. I can dump my bucket. Now I'm lighter, and I know it's in a safe place, but I'm no longer carrying that gunk with me. I've gotten it out. It's so therapeutic as long as you're discerning about where you're dropping it. There's some places, some people that I would never share my most intimate stuff with, because I know that they are looking for me to fail. They want to see me in a bad place because they're in a bad place themselves. And so it would be just not smart of me to even go there. As much as I would love for those relationships to be strengthened, and for me to be able to have those types of conversations with some of these folks, I have to live in the real world, in reality. And in reality, I know that they're toxic for me. They're unhealthy themselves. And so seeing me healthy doesn't make them feel good. It makes them feel less healthy. So they can't celebrate me because they're in too much of a in darkness struggle themselves. I can remain hopeful that they get on the other side. I can be thankful that they have another day, another opportunity to get it together. But I can't attach myself to that kind of toxicity. Those are the conversations I have with myself on a regular basis. What's safe? Where's a good place to go? What are the relationships that I'm most grateful for because they're reciprocal? I can dump my stuff, they can dump theirs. Have those conversations. Be discerning within yourself and know where your support system is, and be grateful for that system. Be it one person, be it five, be it 1,000. You may be one of those lucky. These are 1,000 of my closest friends. No, I've got about four, four places where I can go, and I covet those places. They're mine because I know they've got my back. They're going to take good care of me, especially when I'm not in a position to take care of myself. So I'm so grateful for those relationships and know I have a safe place to unload and recharge, right? Have you ever, you remember We don't do a lot of batteries anymore. Most stuff is USB, but you've had something that battery operated. The batteries have been in there for a long time. You can't change just one battery. Maybe there's just that one that's causing the issue, but it tells you all that you replace them all at once to get fully charged. You got to prune, you got to get rid of the stuff that's not working so well anymore and prepare by putting in the stuff that will work, that's fully charged and ready to go, right? Out with the old, in with the new. Be it the way you think, the way you feel, the way you show up in the world. Maybe there's habits that you need to get rid of. I was talking about my Dr. Pepper habit yesterday. There's not one in front of me because if there was, I'd drink it. I have not mastered that. I can't be in a room with it and not drink it yet. And the Bible talks about temptation. And that's one of the things, it's funny to me because we as humans feel like we're supposed to be able to be around the things that we have a weakness to and show our strength and push through. You can make your life difficult if you want to. I've decided not to be around things that I'm weak to because I can use that energy that I'm spending fighting that weakness. Just don't have that thing around and use that energy for something that's going to be productive. If I if that Dr. Pepper was here, it'd be hard to look at the camera. It'd be hard to think about what I wanted to say because it would take everything in me not to reach out and grab it and pop that tab. Psst. Oh man, what a sound. I want that sound. And then I want that taste, that whole thing. I can spend all of my energy fighting that, or I can just leave that temptation out of my space, right? Gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe, from Neale Donald Walsch. So if you're in a place where the winds are blowing and you're having a hard time maintaining balance, it's okay. Hang on. It's a season. It's not the state of your life, it's a season in your life, right? And to help you maneuver that storm and to get through it as quickly as possible, as unscathed as possible, lean into gratitude. Focus on the things that you're grateful for. And that will help you as you continue to move through because you will. You'll get through the storm. Good morning, fam. Did you do that, Brian? Was Brian working in the background? Let's see what we have here.
I
Um,
did do that.
Thank you. Look at Conchita. Transcendental meditation teaches that there is the greatest calm in the eye of the storm. This is actually where the peace of God resides. It's about shifting mindset while we are in the storm. Always maintain gratitude. Absolutely. I don't know if you've ever, I know you, Jay, and you too, Brian, y'all are very familiar with a real storm. I was in a tornado only once. And in our little town, it where we are is really like a tornado alley or anything. So it was rare. But I remember getting in my mom's closet. I remember that calm. It's an eerie quiet. Like you hear nothing, you feel nothing. It's like everything just goes still and silent. That's that eye of the storm. That's that peaceful place that we're so unaccustomed to that it feels weird. It feels scary for a moment. And then those winds came. As that eye passed over, the winds came and everything was moving in that little circular motion. Um, and we only had a very very small taste of it where we grew up, but I do remember that quiet, that stillness, that peace. That's what we want, right? And you're right, where we focus, if we can focus on that, if we can use our gratitude and our ability to choose where we focus to shift us into the eye, the storm's still raging, we're just tucked away in that safe space. Allow yourself to be tucked away in that safe space. So So thank you for sharing that, Conchita. And Kim said, thankful for you guys today and always. We are thankful for you as well. Um, Conchita said, yes, Cassandra, perfect example of that stillness and peace. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Brian or Jay, I'm open to either one of you, but I want to start with you, Jay, and see where you are, if you're ready to share or if you want a little bit more time.
I think I'll yield the mic to Brian.
Okay, Brian, go ahead.
You know, I got your back. I
Appreciate it.
love this conversation today and this quote: gratitude, being thankful in advance. It's something I talk about all the time. I talk to my kids about it. I talk to anybody that'll listen about it. You know, we've been taught that prayer is about asking. Prayer is about thankfulness. Prayer is about gratitude. Prayer is about
Mm-hmm.
that thing that the Bible talks about and no one ever really does. You're supposed to be thankful before the thing happens. That proves your faith, right? That proves your faith. And it's evident in the bad time, not the good time. When that shutdown happens, you have to thank God for the shutdown, for the slowdown, right? So that you can be thankful in that
Mm-hmm.
time. That's when you're able to show up and say, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. That's when you start to realize all of the other stuff that's happening for your good because you're not distracted by all of that stuff because we're human. All of those things, all of those thoughts, those ideas, all of that stuff that you're focusing on getting, you lose focus on the thing that matters the most. And that's what you already
Mm-hmm.
have, right? They always talk about a
Right.
bird in the hand beats two in the bush. And it's so true.
Right.
Focus on what you
Mm-hmm.
have. Focus on what's left. I read a passage in a book the other day. We were doing something at church, and the passage was talking about focus on what you have left after the storm. Instead of beating yourself up and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I lost this, I can't believe I lost that. And I'm talking about the storm of life here. After the storm,
Mm-hmm.
take an inventory, look around you, and be thankful for everything that's still standing. When you do that, he'll bless you tenfold. You get 10 times what you thought you lost. That's all
Yeah.
materialistic stuff. The one thing that you have, the one thing that you need to hold steadfast to is your faith, is your belief. And the way that's built up, the way you strengthen that muscle is by being thankful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you said that, being thankful about what's left, what's still standing after the storm, it took me right back to my party analogy. You have your birthday party, your friends and family are gathered and ready to celebrate, and that one person that you wanted to be there didn't show up. You don't get to enjoy your party because you're so focused on who didn't come instead of all those that are there to celebrate you. We can be like that in life. We can be so focused on what we don't have, what's not going our way, that we miss all the blessings that are right there in front of us, all the things that we do have to be grateful for. See, my mom wrote, there hath no temptation taken you, but such as in common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will either the temptation also make a way to escape that you may be able to bear it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Conchita said, come on, Brian, you are preaching today. That's confirmation from Bible study last night. Prayer is an act of thanksgiving. And my mom said, say it, Brian. Sonia said, I'm thankful for so much, especially the positive energy, knowledge, just overall information from the fam. Thank you, Sonia. And we are so glad that you are back and are able to share with us again. So there you go, Brian. Well received what you have shared. And, at the end of the day, that tool of gratitude, that way of life, that point of view coming from a place of gratitude by choice, that's the thing. It is a choice. We can choose where to focus, even in the hard times. We can just gather ourselves for a moment and give ourselves some instant relief from whatever it is that we're shouldering by looking towards gratitude and helping it help us to keep moving through the storm. Jay, are you intending to share it all today, or is today a day where you're just in a receiving mode? Either way is a okay.
Yeah, it's actually both. I'm receiving. I'm hearing everything. I'm not exactly in a balanced state at the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding my situation and my past, right? So I've said it many times before. I actually survived the tornado, right? And
Right.
after that experience was the time it took for me to understand what it was like to pick up the pieces, to figure out a way to move forward after such a
Mm-hmm.
traumatic event. And so while we're scared or we're concerned about the storm as it's hitting us, right? Whatever that storm is for you,
Mm-hmm.
what happens next is what will carry you through. So
Mm.
after it, right? This is what I'm thinking about. And when you were talking, that's exactly what was going through my mind was the storm may have been scary,
Mm-hmm.
but it only lasted a few minutes.
Right.
What came afterwards, the aftermath of that storm, was really what determines how you move forward, right? So I could have sat there and wallowed in all the remains of my house,
Mm-hmm.
or I could literally pick up the pieces and figure out a way to move forward. And I chose to move forward. So
Right.
right now I'm in that space again. I'm in that season again. And thinking about it, I'm going to James chapter 1 verse 12.
Okay.
Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. So, in an act of gratitude, right, and faith.
Mm-hmm.
So, not only do you need to think about gratitude and focus on the blessings that you currently have, you need to also have faith. Take faith in whatever storms you're experiencing. And I'm not just talking to those in the audience, I'm talking to myself at this point. That verse really is talking about the importance of gratitude in the midst of trials.
Mm-hmm.
And it's encouraging believers and those who are faithful to maintain an attitude of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that the trials and tribulations can lead to spiritual growth, maturity and but at the core, the fulfillment of God's promises. And for those who are secular, who don't exactly believe what I believe, it's having faith in yourself and the work that you've done. But for us who are believers, it's remaining steadfast in faith
Mm-hmm.
and love for God. And really believers can find hope and assurance that all of this will pass away. Uh,
Mhm.
and when you understand that, you understand that there's that is the source of your gratitude and encouragement during these tough times. So uh, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave with a story about um, well, it's a children's story, The Giving Tree. I don't know if you've read The Giving Tree before.
Love that story.
Mm.
Man, it'll get you in tears if you don't watch it. See, the story follows the tree's like selfless love for this boy from childhood to when he's old. And as the boy grows older, he he really goes back to the tree for various needs. Money, house, a boat, and the tree just keeps on giving and giving. And at the end of it, when he's old, he returns to that tree, which is now a stump. And that old man just rests upon that stump. Even all the way to the end, it just keeps on giving.
Mhm.
And we can look at it this way in a couple of different ways. God continues to give and give and give and give. Even when you think there's no more to receive, you got to lean in on that stump. And really, the story to me can mean several things, but it's sacrifice, it's unconditional love, friendship, but appreciating all the blessings you have received throughout your life
Mhm.
and understanding that you need to lean in even when you think there's no more to receive. You can lean in, especially when it comes to faith and trust and those in your community, in your network, to help see you through those challenging times. So that's what I wanted to share today.
When there's nothing, when you think that there's nothing else to give, at a minimum, he will give you rest. And that's what we saw when he laid on the stump. We saw surrender and rest. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Love that story. Thank you so much. Brian, you came back on camera. Were you going to say something else?
No, I just had to make sure Jay knew I was feeling exactly what he was saying.
I got you. Yep. We are here. And Conchita says prayers for your restored balance within. Jade, you've got this. Um, my mom says, all right, I'm thankful for so much also. God is so good. If we just think for a moment, we always be grateful. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for that God is allowing me to witness my daughter walk in her purpose. There are too many things to name. Come on, Jay, you are preaching. Wow. Yes, God is giving. Yes, lean in. As the song goes, flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. That's one of my favorite songs. We danced to that song many, many years ago. And my son-in-law has never stopped. Every time something is going on or my daughter is getting on his nerves or something, that's like a standing joke in the house. He'll just start grateful and kind of mimicking some of the moves we did. And he does the gratefulness all the time. So yes, there is something about just taking that little mental shift and leaning in to gratitude. Because when we lead into gratitude, we are leaning into God. That's where our blessings come from. We are leaning into what it is that He has provided. And there's so much comfort, there's rest. You can see your gratitude leading you to that stump so that you can rest. And in your resting, your surrender, your giving up the struggle of whatever the situation is, there you will find peace. You will find comfort. You will find the support that you need. That was my experience when I was in the hospital. I won't tell the story again because I've said it a couple times recently. But when I gave up and just let go and let God, I was immediately restored. All that illness that I had been experiencing for 6, 7 months diminished in a moment. I went to sleep sick and I woke up well. And the only thing that changed was I surrendered. And I put my head on that stump and allowed myself to be restored. Not knowing what that restoration was going to look like, not knowing what it meant for me physically, I just gave up and gave in and just allowed, let go and let God. Sonia says, "Thanks, Jay. You know God is always present with us all." And Mom said, "Yes, let go and let God." Absolutely, absolutely. So gratitude, you guys. On Thursdays we like to get those gratitude trains going. So just continue to throughout your day to focus on what it is that you are grateful for, especially in those moments where the heart is heavy, where you may be having difficulties. Sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes it may be somebody at the job. They're just driving you nuts. You'd rather not have to work with them. Just step back for a moment and rebalance and refocus yourself before you enter into those conversations so that you go in ready to be the highest form of you and to bring the light into whatever situation that you're going into. We have that control. Sometimes our emotions make us think that we don't, but we do. We have that control. Lean into gratitude and allow it to make life better for you. Brian, have I forgotten anything? Jay, I think we're getting close to closure. Anything we want to leave with everyone before we go?
I want to leave everyone with one thing: take the assessment. This assessment, helps you- listen, it helps you to become that being that is more thankful. It's not an overnight process. And it
It's
starts
not.
with actually identifying where you're at and being honest about it. And let's be honest, accountability helps when you're going through times like this. When you just said such a key thing, you just said having that support system during the tough times, it is paramount. And when you're moving forward, when you're starting to grow, when you're starting to prune and shed off that old you, sometimes it hurts to be honest about it, and sometimes you need some help getting to that next level. That assessment helps
Mhm.
do that. Take the assessment. It's free, and they get to talk with you, Cassandra. I mean, that's a win-win. That's a
I
win-win.
want to score.com. That's where the assessment is. It is really quick, but as a result, you will get you'll actually get an assessment result that'll kind of help you see where you are in your personal development and growth journey. And the reason I added the time with me, we'll get together for 15 minutes or so and talk about the assessment and how you can use that information to keep going, to figure out what you need to do next in your personal journey. If we don't do that part of it, you get a little bit of information without me. Um, but if you really want to personalize it and figure out how it can be applicable in your life, let's have that conversation after you've had the assessment, because I think that's key. Personalizing. There's so much information out there. We're taking in information all day long, but to actually synthesize it, personalize it, and bring it into your current situation and the goals that you have for yourself, that's where the real benefit is. So go to iwanttosoar.com, take the assessment, and then let's have that conversation and make sure that we are doing everything that we can do to ensure that you have the year and beyond that you'd like to have, that you're clear about what you want, you're setting those goals, you've built your plan, and you're moving through.
Jay, before you say anything, can I have a quick Cassandra Terry moment? Just a quick one. Love it, love it, love it.
Go ahead, Jay. Don't let Brian distract you.
No, absolutely. I'm gonna have myself also a Cassandra Terry moment. You know,
Oh Lord.
manifesting miracle makers, right?
Mhm.
Um, when we talk about manifesting, let's focus on that for just a second before we leave
Okay.
today. What does that mean? What does manifesting mean? And it can be sometimes it can be difficult to understand for some folks. But really,
Mhm.
here's what it is. We attract what we think about. Our minds are like magnets.
Yes.
And when we ask God for something or the universe or whatever with pure intent, it always answers. You know, and so rather than putting ourselves in that mindset of asking, why don't we attract by focusing on gratitude, on the
Mm.
blessings you already have?
Being
Mhm.
thankful for what's already yours. I love it.
Mhm.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
And there it is.
Well, all right. I think we have done what we came to do. We appreciate you guys for being so engaging and providing your comments and your support. We will be back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Central for Focus Friday. Hard to believe it's already Friday again, but that is the case. Let's see. I think one more comment just came in. Oh, my mom says, Sonia says, I truly love how the fam support each other. My mom said, great show, you guys, and great moments, guys. LOL. Go, Jay. That's good. All right. So I think it is time for us to close today. We will see you guys back here tomorrow at 7:15 a.m.
Thank you for joining us for
Central
this
for
episode
Focus
of the
Friday.
Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We
We are
hope that you
asking that
join
you
us
go to
tomorrow for another episode.
iwanttosoar.com and take this.
For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us.